Well, welcome everybody to our Monday night Team Pagination training call. And it's my distinct pleasure, let me get my video going here. It's my distinct pleasure to have my sponsor, mine and my sister's sponsor, Kevin Duguay, the first associate in this company back in 2016, I think June 18th, 2016. Dukes, I don't want to date ourselves here, but
all right, the hair does it, Terry. I'm already there, bro, so don't worry about it. Doesn't matter, you can't hide it.
Yeah, I get it, but it seems like it was only yesterday. But
yes,
ladies and gentlemen, this guy, if you've ever had an opportunity to meet Kevin Duguay, please take that opportunity and meet this guy. He has become a dear friend of my sister Lori and I. This guy will reach out and help anyone. This guy is the guy that goes above and beyond heartfelt leadership to people that he never ever questions where they are in the company, whether they're financially associated with Kevin. He is just a gem of a person. And as I said in my description, if there was ever a Spirit of Super Patch award, this guy would win it hands down. And I'm very blessed to have this guy as my sponsor, and I'm sure my sister feels the same way. But his resume is at least as long as my arm. I mean, he is a former trainer for the Newmarket Hurricanes. He was a former equipment manager and trainer at the Toronto Patriots. He's a former sports rehabilitation specialist at ProFit Health. Former head athletic trainer at the University of Toronto. Former head athletic trainer for the Toronto Argonauts in the CFL. Former head athletic trainer for the Canadian National Soccer. Athletic trainer at the Nova Scotia Oilers, which were Edmonton Oilers farm team. But above and beyond all those, this guy is one of the most caring guys I've ever met in my life. And we've roomed together on the road. We've had some laughs along with Paul Austin on the road. We were first launching this company back in 2016, and Kevin's always got some amazing words of wisdom. And if you're feeling a little stuck, I'm sure this guy tonight will give you words of encouragement to keep you going and get you back on the right track. So it's my pleasure to introduce my sponsor and our trainer for Team Pagination tonight, and the first associate in this company, Kevin Duguay. Welcome, Kev.
thanks, Terry. Good to be back. I was away for a while. Welcome to life. And it's nice to be called this guy as opposed to that guy, that type of deal. So you're my guy as well. I guess that was a great song, My Guy, but I can't remember who was by, but My Guy. So it's nice to have a guy and a gal. And that's what this team is about. And so it's been an amazing journey for Terry and I and Paul and some of the veterans quite a few veterans on this call. And that's gonna be part of today's talk. I'm a sports guy, so I like to use analogies and we'll share some stuff. So it's not heavy on the writing. I got lots of nice slides. You can take screenshots and PowerPoint and all that. So it's not going to be like, I learned that in teaching, you see, that if you put a lot of words on your screen, nobody's going to listen to you because they're too busy writing down all the words. So it's like, you know what? Don't do that. Welcome to Death by PowerPoint. So it'll be some fun stuff tonight, and we'll go from there. So I'm going to share my screen here, Terry. Please let me know if it pops up because I had it ready to go. And I'm going to put this there, and this, and share. And does that show up?
Yep, you're good to go.
Okay, here we go. Okay, so I'm going to start the clock because I got to stay on the clock. We only got one period to get through here. So I'm going to start my clock and stay on point.
Hey, you know what? If we go into overtime, if it's tied, we'll keep it. Yeah, don't worry about it.
All right, no problems. Okay, so welcome everybody. New, old, in between middle age and this super patch / Fox Life, and now we got a new brand, right? We got a new team name. It's like the Washington Commanders in the NFL. We were Washington Redskins, and now we're the Washington Commanders, but we're still in the NFL. And the NFL for me is the Neurological Fun League. So we're in the Neurological Fun League, and we're going to have I'm going to share some stuff with what I've learned through a lot of years in my journey. And, one of the things that's been on my heart, and this, just so you know, this picture is one of my side roads where I live up here in Alliston, Ontario, where you can see a lot of heavy traffic today. Nothing. Welcome to living in the country. And it's where I get to do a lot of my thinking when I get to go walk. And walking for me has been a way to work on myself, whether through podcasts or talking with my wife or walking with my dog. And I talk to the dog sometimes, but that's a one-way conversation. And so I get to practice some things. And one of the cool things I've learned in this journey is about growth and development. And so we're going to go through some of the key points that are dear to me, and I think will help all of us move forward, because we've heard the tagline, right, in network marketing, direct sales. It's the greatest personal development journey you're ever going to go on. Now, for some of us, it's kind of been traumatic. Been there. Some of us are starting to see some hope. I'm working at it. I kept working on my shot. I'm working on we're going to talk about the demo tonight, because I saw those questions coming. Kev, I'm at rookie camp in the demo, man. And I'm struggling. Well, I'm coming to Orlando. So for all of you on this call, if you see me in Orlando, pull me aside. I'll work with you. Just like Terry and I and all others leaders of helping each other grow and develop. I love doing the demo. Demo is my thing. So anyway, here we go. So human perspective. Look at the picture on the left. Look at the picture on the right. We all come into this world like and that's not me, by the way. I don't look that cute. We all come in like the little one on the left. Okay. So imagine this, right? You're in your mother's womb. It's nice, it's warm, it's dark, buffet's open 24/7, and all of a sudden you come out into the world. Like, what happened? And we're going to talk about brain stuff tonight, because I love talking about the brain. It's been my big passion, and now I get to be a really cool part working with another great teammate, Dr. Sylvia Passfield, who's on this call. I get to be her understudy. I feel like I'm an intern at med school, working with her in a clinic. I'm going back to school, I'm like Rodney Dangerfield in that movie where he's back in class with that university professor. That's where I feel like I'm like now. But I'm having fun. So you got to remember this word, fun. It's very important. So we come into this world like the little one on the left, and hopefully, if all goes according to plan, and there's things that we can do to look like on the right with that smile. I had a good run, Kev. Had a really good life. I really lived life. There's a great line in a movie called Secondhand Lines. I don't know if you've ever seen it, but when they pass away, their sons come back and these two guys meet up and they go, they really lived life. You know what? For those of us in this journey with this amazing tech, we're living life. And it's a powerful journey. So I'm going to do everything I can to stay in a Terryism. I got a few Terryisms tonight because he's my liney, called the joy zone. This is really important. You keep telling yourself, I'm going to live in the joy zone. Why? We know what the world is like. We know what's out there. So I'm going to make a different choice. I'm going to focus on some things, and we're going to get into that. So just a couple of things on neurodevelopment, because we all been this journey. I had 3 kids and I got a granddaughter. But I learned some things along the way, especially when I was teaching at college. And I love like numbers, right? Numbers can really make things feel really small. Like even when you think you're smart, it can really humble you in a good way. So to give you a perspective, we know how critical the first 5 years are into neural development in the brain. And there's still, again, another Terryism, there's always room for improvement after 5. Because people said, nah, there's no more hope. Whatever you're born with is what you got. Going, nope, that's not completely correct. You've been misinformed. We're going to get into some of those big words that you can use in Scrabble. They're really good words if you can make them, like neuroplasticity, neurogenesis, neuroregeneration. Those are good things that are happening in your brain, but you got to cultivate it, right? It's like a garden. You got to work at it. Okay, because otherwise the weeds will come in and they'll wipe out the garden. So we don't want the weeds coming in, right? We want to keep everything in the right environment. So here's a couple of numbers for you. I did this on a couple podcasts. Up until the age of 3, just look at my notes here, make sure I get it right. That's right. First 3 years of your life, this is how fast your brain's working. It's building 700 neural connections a second. Okay, welcome to University of Google. 700 neural connections a second, right? You come out into the world going, now what? Your brain's like a sponge. It loves stimulus. It loves good stress. Just so you know, good stress is called eustress. You're going to write this word down, called eustress. EU stress. It's good stress. There's distress, right? Bad stress. And there's good stress. Like for those of you that work out, I'm working on my personal development. I'm going to conferences. I'm working on my game. You're doing all the good things. Good things will happen. I don't know when, how, but they will because you're doing productive activities. Your brain is orchestrating 64 quadrillion, I love this number, 64 quadrillion chemical reactions a second. That's 64 with 15 zeros a second. It's busy. It's on the express lane all the time. Why? It's looking after us. So God made it for us. He said, you got a job to do. Look after Kev. But sometimes we mess it up, right? That's welcome to our journey. So, but we got people on this team that can work with us to help us get better. This is another thing about this cool team that we're part of. Okay. So that's all you need to know. But if you got grandkids, have a lot of fun. There's your homework if you got grandkids. Okay, I'm in that category. I still got 2 more years with the munchkin. So we always have fun. We like to go park day and books. So anyway, okay, this chart, I'm gonna take a few minutes, not a few minutes, 30 seconds. I'm a positive-minded individual. I am going to focus on the right side. It's like that neuro chart that Jay put up, right? Optimal function and, you know, the red and the green. So I want you to look at this. This is an audience participation. And just do your own self-critique analysis. Okay, I don't need to show of hands, Kev. I'm all red. Okay, I get a sunburn too. I don't want to go in category. It hurts. So we got to get away from that. But you're going to look at this and say, where do I operate out of? How do I get to the right side? How do I start to nurture, culture, develop, train, empower, build myself? That if I'm on the left side, we know what that does. And we're going to get into a couple things here in a second here about what we can do to focus on the right side and work on these parts of us. Because as we work on these parts, amazing things start to happen. Because you're getting out of a box, right? Society loves to put everything into a box. We're not created like that. We weren't created to live in a box. Imagine being that baby and you live in your playpen your whole life. It's a box. Now, how many tried the escape clause? You've seen those videos on YouTube, the little kids trying to escape from the crib and they're climbing over and they're figuring everything out. We have a good laugh with that kid is an entrepreneur. That kid is like, I am not living in that box. I got a plan to get out, and how the kid get out? He says, I'm smart. I'm thinking, I'm analyzing, but I want to get out because there's more fun outside the crib than is, but sleep's important too. So we'll focus on that. So what's beneficial for us? For this brain that we have, that not only physiologically runs our body, but we're very closely tied into the emotional side because we're emotional beings, right? I remember sharing this with my students when we talk about the emotion of love. Your whole body, like all the cells in your body, like light up like a Christmas tree. It's amazing what happens when you experience love. And when you experience the other side, you can only imagine what the body looks like. It's not that. It gets shut down. Okay, so we're going to focus on lighting it up, as I call it. Okay, so some things about us. Now, there's 3 pictures on here, and audience participation. If you look at the one on the left-hand side, what did your eyes zero in on? Did they zero in on all the birds on the top? Or do your eyes focus on the one on the line by itself? People go, I looked at the one by itself. Welcome to you. There's only one of us in this world. You, me. We were created for a purpose. One of the challenges in life, when you read all those personal development books, is finding your purpose, finding your passion, finding your why. Some people spend their whole life finding their why. That's okay. That's okay. You kept on the journey to find what was there for you. You didn't stop, you didn't quit. The one in the middle, from an individual perspective, I'll give you a picture. I remember going down to Florida, and we went for a couple of days for meetings down there, and we went for a walk in the beach on the Gulf with Terry, Jen, and myself. Now, if you ever go walking on the beach, you create your own footsteps, because if I was following in Terry's footsteps, I can't have a conversation because he's ahead of me and I'm behind him. So we do, we walk beside each other. So we're all on the line. We can all what? We all communicate, but we're making our own path. You are on this call, you are creating a path in your life journey. I'm 62 years old. Did I say, oh, I'm 24? I know exactly we're going to be at 62. Not a chance. But boy, I look back now on steps that happened in the ladder that brought me to this point. I'm going to touch a bit in the end. And then we know that guy on the right, like this guy's very smart. So when you look at some of these components, I respect each of us for the individual gifts and talents that we have, and we're all unique. So I tell people, embrace your individuality, embrace it. And don't get into that virus called comparitis. Because it's hard, right? Comparing other students in your class. I've been there, we've all been there. And you think they're gonna, it's hard because it's in a box, right? I said, no, be your creative self. Okay, next one. Go here. Okay, curiosity. Another key part that what flourishes your brain. Okay, so you look at the 3 points. Okay, in regards to, so again, think of our tech, right? Imagine this, right? 9 years ago, I meet Jay. He has his technology, and it was in a completely different form than it is today. Completely different form. And we've seen with curiosity, how does this work? How did this happen? It's the hows and the whys that we look at life and say, what if I go down that path? If I don't change, nothing will change. It will stay, you'll stay in the same lane. I got to change lanes. No, I'm not. I'm going to stay in that inside lane and get stuck behind that driver and drive at 70 kilometers an hour in the inside lane on the highway. No, I get out of the lane. I got to pass him. You got to make a change. What else? What if I get past? What if I go down this different road? That was a lot of it. That's our journey where we are now compared to where we were. We kept, what else is there? And so for me, life is an adventure. I love adventures and travel, exploration. I'm not going to go to Mount Everest, but there's other things I love to do. So, and another key part, the third one is creativity. I love the line by Maya on the left side. Isn't that powerful? You can't use it up because the more you use, the more you have. It's like, it's again, that other line, what if I try this? What if I do? Like creativity, think for those of you that are artistically talented, I am not that. We have those amazing artistic people on this team who can create banners and flyers and this and that. They're gifted in this. I know what my area is, and we start and we work on that craft or that skill. You know, everybody can do paint by numbers, but who could paint freehand? We have some artists on this call. I look at their art going, they're in another league. There's a picture inside of a picture. You know what I'm talking about, Darlene. Like, how do you get this? But that's her gift. You know, and she's used it to impact a lot of people. And the middle one's our world. Be like everybody else. And I think of those, all of us on this call, we made a change. We go, I don't want to be like everybody else. I'm going to try something. I'm going to join this team. Why would you join that team? Because I did. Why? Let me tell you my story. And so what do we learn in going through the process? Now we have our bumps in the road, we have our ups and downs, and it's okay. Because as we work through this together, Jay keeps coming up with new ideas, and we got the Tom Browns of this world, and we got a lot of smart people on this team. And you're going to see it all comes together at the end here. Okay. So what do we got to do? What if you want to, you don't have to recommend it, because I'm on the same process, right? It's like your brain's like a garden. And I want it to flourish all the time. So for those of us who do gardening, there are people on this call who do it. There's a lot of things that go into gardening. You just don't throw the seeds in the ground and let it go to work. No, there's a lot of stuff that goes into it. So what can we do to develop this mindset? So there's 8 things we're going to quickly go through, and I'm going to tie it up at the end. Okay. So number 1, there's traps, right? It's like snakes and ladders. It's like, oh man, you're so close to the finish, right? I think it's at number 97, and boom, you go down like 13 or something like this, going, I was so close, and you rolled the wrong dice because the dice were loaded. No, they weren't loaded. I don't play with illegal dice, but you rolled the wrong number, right? And you go all the way back down. I got to keep going. So when you look at this chart, developing a growth mindset, instead of say this, right? So they're affirmations, because it's easy. See, it's easy to take the words, because we learn words have power. Words have a lot of power. They can build and they can crush so easily, and they can shut somebody down. I met a teammate the other day, came to the office, and he was a teacher, and we talked about a movie called, oh my God, what's it called? The Freedom Writers. Freedom Writers with Hilary Swank. He had never seen it. And he shared some teaching stories about what he had done to help his students learn. He watched the movie. He was like, Kev, what an amazing movie. I wish I could meet this teacher. And she saw the potential in these students that no one else saw. Because if you're alive, we got a shot. That's what I've learned with athletes I work with. You show up, you do the work, we got a shot. There's a lot of cool nuggets in this movie. So if you haven't seen it, add it to your motivational list of movies called Freedom Writers with Hilary Swank. Phenomenal movie, okay? So here are these affirmations that you can speak on a daily basis. Positive speaking to yourself, okay? And so you can all read, so I'm going to leave it at that. I don't have to repeat it. Number 2, embrace the challenges. Okay. I remember at the beginning, I'll say that for the end. I remember when I was in school or learning something new. For example, learning cursive writing. I'm going back old school, because now I'm bringing it back. I realize it's an important skill to have. I'm no kidding. You can write notes a lot faster cursively than you can printing. And it was like, I got to learn, when I learned French immersion, I had a motivation. I'm going back 2 weeks to go visit family I haven't seen in 45 years. They're still alive. I got an uncle who's 96. I got to get back. I'm looking forward to it. I said, I got to learn this language. Why? Because every time I go on holidays, I just sit there and smile going, Dad, I got to figure this out. I said, there's a French immersion program starting. Is it a little bit of French immersion? No, the whole year is in French, Kev. Okay, I got to go. Why? Because I had a big why. Because I wanted to pratiquer en français pour parler français avec mes amis. That's what I'm going to say. For my francophones, you know exactly what I said. For my anglophones, going, Kev, speak English. So welcome to challenges. Communication is a big part in overcoming challenges, communicating to one another. And they help develop us. Okay, so embrace it. Don't be afraid of it. Embrace it. Number 3, do not fear this. Okay, so again, I'll share moments. So for example, baseball is starting playoffs, right? And I listened to a baseball player talk about his journey. He says, you know what? Imagine this as a hitter. You go to the bat 10 times, go to the plate 10 times, and you hit the ball 3 out of 10 times, you're a 300 hitter. You're considered like a rock star. If you hit 4 out of 10, you're like considered a Hall of Fame material. In other words, 6 out of the 10 times, or 60% of the time, you didn't make it. You're considered like exceptional at 40%. In the academic side of life, it's a failure. But in baseball, you're Hall of Fame material. But if they strike out, they go, no. It's like Wayne Gretzky has a line here, the most shots. Why? Because if you shoot the most, you're probably going to score the most. You got to shoot the puck. You got to go talk to people. You got to do the demo. You got to work with the team. You got to get on calls. You got to do things. You need to just keep working on your game, as they say, right? Keep going to practice. It's part of the journey. We all make mistakes. We learn from mistakes. It's okay. What did I learn? I learned as a kid when I was playing ball hockey in my dad's driveway. You break enough windows, you get the wooden spoon. No, it was a lesson learned. Then my dad got smart, says, you know what? I'm tired of breaking spoons. Kev, we're gonna put plexiglass windows on the garage doors because we had the best driveway for ball hockey. Solve the problem. And then we move on from there. Okay, number 4, effort. I love this picture. I'll tell you why. You say, what's it? Because we know what happens if you hit an iceberg, right? We all know the story of the Titanic, but what's powerful about this, and I'll share is, you look at any consummate professional network marketer, professional speaker, professional chef, professional painter, professional whatever. We see them as they are, and very few people ever get to hear their story of how hard they had to work to get there. That's the stuff under the water. You see this picture with the size of the boat, it's small. And the iceberg looks big on top of the water, but the bigger it is up top, like the greater your success, I know the harder you worked. You can take any consummate professional and they'll tell you, I can always, and I had this line when I was, the line in sports, I can always outwork the competition. I could study more film. I could practice more. I could focus on those things that are going to help me as an athlete or as a network marketer. I'm just going to fix my focus, right? I'm going to focus on things differently. But they don't see the work that you're doing, right? They just see you live on the screen, but there's all those other applications that you see underneath the water. You see it. I see it when we talk and we share amongst each other. And what does a teammate do? I'm gonna lift you up. Again, another Terryism. I'm gonna undergird you. I'm gonna lift you up. Why? Because I'm not a good swimmer. And so I don't want to go under. And so we help one another to stay above water and to grow. Again, it's about flourishing. Okay. Number 5, continue to learn. I don't know how many books I've read in the last 9 years that have nothing to, like, there's a lot that I've read with the brain stuff, but there's a lot I've read on personal development. And there's a lot out there. I've been to conference on personal development. I've been to conferences, and we have a big one coming up in Orlando. And we've learned, right? Big things happen at big events. Why? Because all the committed people are showing up. Why? It's a big thing. It's a pre-launch. We're moving forward. I'm excited. It's like the team is growing. All these new people in the call I haven't met. I can't wait to meet the new people in Orlando. Because I was a new person 9 years ago. And when you draft a rookie like Wayne Gretzky, Tom Brady, some top athlete, you get pretty excited because we all have that potential. But our brains were designed to continue to be stimulated. You need to remember this. A brain without stimulation atrophies. A body that doesn't work out atrophies. The body was made to move. Every system in your body needs to move. If anything starts to sit and settle, like the couch potato club, we know what happens, right? So why would I stop learning? Because the other aspect, and here's a twist you can look at, what I learned about learning is it actually helps me in conversation with people on how to explain neurology. Give you perspective. I go get my water at Home Hardware this morning. I meet a gal, I see a motorcycle helmet in the cart. I'm going to talk motorcycle. She must drive a motorcycle. Get the clue. We start a conversation. One thing leads to another. This lady, I live in farm country, okay? She studied biomedical engineering at Harvard, okay? So we start having a deep talk about the body and systems and life and humanity and all this stuff. I got a gal from Harvard, not a guy, I got a gal from Harvard, biomedical engineering, blown away by the demo because she doesn't know what I know, right? I didn't know this 9 years ago. I kept learning. We'll get there in a second. So again, the desire, the brain loves this. Encourage it, nurture it, work it, get around podcasts, books, conferences, webinars, YouTube, whatever. There's tons of stuff out there. Desire. Persistence. The power of conversations on the right. The Pauls of this world and the Terrys, the business geniuses we have on this team, and all the athletes I've ever worked with, they have a plan. They got an action plan. I was on another call today where they talked about successful people in any field have an action plan. And I did this with a team call this week. I've done this with my students, done this with people that I've worked in training. And I said, I want you to map out your 24-hour schedule over a 7-day week. Put in all the things that are the tangibles, right? If you got to work at a job and you got to take the kids to school, you're in class, you're doing this, whatever. And because where are you going to work in your business, right? What are you going to do? Well, it's got to be in the schedule. We talked about this because I remember being this with the kids and they're in swimming and they're doing all this stuff and they're being pulled left, right, and center going, geez, I got to work on this. I got to work on me. Where's Kev's working on him? Because if I don't work on me, I know what's going to happen. I'm going to fall apart. I said, no, I need me time. Where is that? I'm going to put it in the schedule. It's like a meeting. It's a meeting you can't miss. It's like the Monday night call. Okay. I know there's extenuating circumstances. You got a job. I get it. I got the recording. I'm going to I build my schedule. I'm going to listen to the recording. Why? I'm current on all the news all the time. Right. It's really important. So put a plan of action into place. Goals. Persistence. That's the left-hand side, right? That's the demo, right? So I've learned a few things to be persistent at working at a craft to become the best I can be. And how do I keep getting better? Again, there's always room for improvement. And you know, we heard Jay talk about it. If some guy tells you, oh man, I know everything, just walk out of the room. Don't even waste your time because it's impossible. Have you read every book in the world? No, then you don't know everything. It's possible. You can't read every book in the world. You don't have enough time, right? So you can't know everything. You can know something about something, but how do you develop your craft? I'm going to focus in on this. Okay. Number 7, constructive feedback. Now, again, we talk about words. I can crush, we can all, you know, 2 ears, 1 mouth. Think before you speak, right? Is what I'm going to say going to empower the person or is it going to wipe them out, destroy them? I know there are people on this call that have been subject to that. It hurts. I've been there too. I learned about forgiveness, let it go, and I got to move on. Why? Because wounded people wound. I learned that. It's another thing I learned in life. So I said, I'm going to be something different. I'm going to find those people that have a different language that they speak. And so when you look at this chart, when you start looking at the numbers, and you can use this in anything in life and say, I'm having struggles with whatever. It's like the Ray Higdon calls, right? People put in the comments saying, how do you make phone calls? You make phone calls. So I'm going to walk you through what you need to do the do. So that you can, I did it. I mean, I picked up that cell phone. Man, that cell phone's like really heavy, man. That's really heavy to pick up that call. Oh my God, I'm dying. And then you did one. Great. Keep going. Okay. And for me, I love number 8. And we're living it in this team. And I've been blessed to be on a championship team. So let me tell you a little about championship teams, which is what we're building here in Super Batch. Because of the leadership, because the people are joining the team. You don't have to think like an athlete. You're part of the team. Okay. Now, We all have different skills and attributes, but we're all part of Jay's team. We're all part of Jay's team. Jay's vision is to reach what? 1 billion people. That's the championship. We celebrate the victories, right? We won a game, but every athlete will tell you in any sport, they would give up all the individual awards, all the individual recognition, all that stuff. Yeah, there's the Hall of Fame when you're recognized by your peers. And they go, that's pretty cool. But when you win a championship, they play for that. And everybody celebrates our success on the team. Whether you're the water boy or the water girl. So let me give you a story about this. Because some people go, Kev, I'm just a QA. Really? But you're part of somebody's team. Remember when I was at Sheridan College at U of T and I had my therapy students, right? And I'm inside taping my athletes. And I go out onto the field about 15 minutes into practice because we're working a couple injured players. And I see my students standing on the sidelines talking. And it's like 90 degrees outside, like it is today in Toronto. It's crazy weather here. I love it. Don't get me wrong. I said, why are you not on the field with the water and the cold towels for the players? Oh, I'm a therapist. I don't do that. I don't do that stuff. Hang on a second here. Time out. I thought hydration was part of injury prevention, like dehydration, heat exhaustion, heat stroke, death. Remember that class? They go, yeah. So why are you on the sidelines with the water that's going to keep the horses going? Because you're in school and you think you're above that? No. Trust me. When you go on the field with the water and you humble yourself and you go serve those players, you're going to make a lot of friends. Why? Because when you're 320 pounds and you got football equipment on 9 degrees, you're looking for the cold towel and you're looking for the water. You become a very powerful person on that team. And they go, what's a water boy, a water girl? Well, if you don't get enough water, you're going to die. Oh, I never looked at it that way. See, it's perspective, right? It's how do you look at things? So teamwork, and as we build this community, which we've been nurturing for the last 7+ years now. We keep working on the game. Why? Because as we work on ourselves, this is what starts to happen. See, when I was in school studying sports medicine, I never heard of this word called neuroplasticity, that the brain can change. It can change for the good and it can change for the bad. I'm working on the good stuff. I'm seeing that with Dr. Sill. I'm seeing that with the neurotech. We've seen that with their stories with the people we've touched, that something happened in the brain instantly. How amazing is that? And we can measure it, right? With a brain map. We got all that stuff. But see, what happens with these positive attributes and positive thoughts when you work on building connections? See, it's a growth process. It's that eustress that we put in. You start to see what happens, right? There's a thought, and it can be a weak link, or I say, I'm going to work on this. I'm going to empower my body. I'm going to energize my body. I'm going to energize. It's like Star Trek, energize, boop, and they go. I need to work on it every day. I got to fuel my brain, fuel my body, fuel my mindset. And guess what happens? We start to change. And I know because I've worked with some of you for a long time, Kev, I'm a different player when I first came into this game. Great. Keep going. This picture, when I was preparing this mission, I feel like an astronaut, preparing this message. I remember going up to Windy Lake and we went for a walk with some teammates. Terry did a cool thing, a team building exercise, a competition, whatever. And I went for a walk with two ladies, Angela Corns and Patty Grass. And we're just talking about this back in the early days, right? Like black and white television, the Super Patch. And, you know, you think that getting to the top of the mountain is like the cat's daddy, you know, like Mount Everest. But see, when you get to the top of Mount Everest, can't get a lot of people on the mountaintop. Because if you've ever been, I've never been to Mount Everest. I love Mount Everest stories. Like you're 29,000 feet, you're in the death zone. And if you take one step off, you're in Nepal, next step you're in India or Pakistan, whatever country, but it's a long way down. You're not going to make it. It's a very treacherous life or death journey. And it's not getting there, it's getting back. right? People, oh, I got to the top. We're halfway home. We got to get back to base camp or camp 4. Why? Because we're going to die on the mountain. But you see, Patty goes, Kev, there's a lot of room on the plateau. There's a lot of room on this plateau for people in Super Patch, all shapes and sizes. We can put a lot of people on that plateau. You can't put a lot on the mountaintop. We can put a lot on that plateau. And that's what we're building. We're building an army of like-minded, wellness, heart-centered, heart-caring, heart-driven people that have a passion to help people with the coolest tech in the world, which leads me to this. This is what we're building. So every athlete, this mindset component is we are athletes in network marketing business. I'm working on myself. And when you look at these pictures, if you know nothing about sports, it's okay. But whether you either love or hate the Yankees, you either love or hate the Patriots, the gentleman at the bottom is Pelé in soccer, one of the greatest soccer players of all time. You notice how the whole team is cheering? All these pictures are all a teammate cheering and rejoicing with one another. Bottom left, my team, Montreal Canadiens. I grew up in Montreal. The captain, the guy on the left of the Stanley Cup, Jean Beliveau, one of the all-time greatest gentlemen of all time. All time. And I was with that team in the top left. This picture, I love it. This was beginning of the game. The guys came out, and it was a spontaneous act. And all the helmets go up. And we're like, we're all in this together. We either win as a team or we lose as a team. When you think like that, and you get part of just even tasting, getting to that championship game, and you win one, winning one for us is going to be the billion. That's okay. Maybe that's a big number, but that's the mission, right? You get to $1 billion. Now what? Now we're going to get to 2. Why? There's more people to help. So what do you build? That's what you're building. Okay, that's what we're a part of with this company. And then powerful story on neurology. So, and this is going to wrap it up here. So I'm a little bit over, but I'm doing pretty good because I'm under 2 hours. So that's cool. So here we go. So if you don't know the bottom story, it's David versus Goliath. The reality picture, that's like a long time ago. It's history, but it's a powerful story, right? Because that little guy says, I'm going up against this big guy. He's going up some guy, right? The big guy. And I got to win this battle. Because that big guy is going to wipe out all my friends. You can use whatever analogy you want. And he goes, I got to slay this guy. Because I'm fighting for my team. Now, I'm not going to kill you on the demo. Okay, I'm not going to do that. It's not good for business, right? I said, I'm going to show you something. But back then, it was a little different. Either win, live, or die. And he goes, I know where to throw the rock. I got this today when I'm having in my morning quiet time. I got this, I don't work, got this download, man. It's like, story, that little boy knew where to throw the rock. Says, you got this armor on, but your brain's everything, man. Right? We met those people, neurological inconvenience. The top picture, you can figure out who the Goliath is in the picture and who the David is. Now, there's a David and a Davidette. Okay, the Davidette is a teammate, Karen Lang, on the left side. Karen Lang, welcome to teamwork. Karen Lang's, Kev, I got a meeting lined up in London, Ontario with these football guys. I need backup. I need a blocker. I need to call them the SWAT team. Kev, can you come down to London? You say football, I'm in. Okay, so there's Goliath in the middle. This guy's 6'7", 315 pounds. There's little Kev at 5'10", $165, and I don't know what Karen's weight is because women don't tell women's weight. Now I'll do that. But she's a Davidette, a little bit smaller than me. But there's this big dude in the middle, thinking I'm a pro football player. I got a big body. I lift heavy weights, this and that. But he was open-minded. We did the demo. Or Karen, Karen's like the quarterback. Kev, I'm going to call a play. I'm going to hand the football to you. You go do the demo. Okay, you're the demo guy. Go do it. So I did, and I get excited, right? To me, it's like game day. So we do the demo on this guy, And he fails, just like Goliath in the picture. He's perplexed. Now, I didn't kill him, but I humbled him. But we did another cool explanation. We did that lateral flies to fatigue that you've seen on the videos, right? When you take the weights. So that blew him away. He did like 30% more reps with the tech on after he'd worked out 2.5 hours. But see, it all ties back into what? Our story. I'm going to wrap up with this. So my story, 9 years ago, I had already been in sports med for 30 years. Terry read in my bio. I thought I was a smart guy. I thought I knew everything about balance because I've been teaching it to all my clients in rehab in the clinic. Right. And I heard a friend invited me to go. They got this guy with this tech, and I was curious, right? I was open-minded. Geez, maybe I could learn something. Or I actually thought I could help him. That was my mindset going in because that's the kind of guy I am. And I get absolutely crushed on the demo. I wasn't happy. I had been misinformed by a lot of people that taught me. But Jay said, Kev, relax. They don't know what I know. They know what they know. And they taught you what they know because that's all you can do. I taught at the colleges. I only can teach you what I know. If I don't, I got to go learn it. Welcome to books. I got a library in the living room. We don't have to show you that, but trust me, come over. We got book time. I says, I got to get better. So I sat and I listened. So I got humbled by Jay. I get blown away by the tech. I listened to another 1.5. I get home that night, told my wife's going to change the world. Don't know how, what it is, went to work, helped Jay, did whatever I could. My very first meeting, I got annihilated on the demo. It worked, but they didn't like our mission. I could have quit. Oh, and by the way, I didn't ask Jay for any white papers. Didn't ask. I saw and felt what happened with the demo, right? Personal experience. But my second meeting, for all my new people on the call, was with a team of professional basketball players in the city that I live in. And they got crushed just like Goliath in this picture. And they weren't happy campers. The language would be a lot of bleeps on this call if I told you what they said when we did the demo with them. But you see, their trainer was open-minded because he knew me from school. Kev, if you got something that can help my athletes, I want to see it. So we went down. And I knew, and for those who've known me for the last 7+ years, I have been committed and I have no doubt about this tech whatsoever. Because as you learn more about the neuroscience part of what Jay has been gifted, it's so powerful. And that's the gift that we have. It's like the Star Trek of neurology. We have it. And so as we share, we attract. And when we attract, we grow. So what do? I tell stories. I help, I share, who's open-minded. And I know that people are going to say no. I know that. Because that's default in humanity. No, I'm good, right? Remember that one? Oh, I'm good. Really? I have fun. You want to make sure you're good? What do you mean? And I'll close on this for my new people. So this is my line, and I'll wrap it up. I'm from the 45 here, I think. I said, so when I'm talking to my athletes, I go, can I ask you a question? Because see, what I learned in the art of conversation, folks, if you ask questions, you're in control of the conversation. Learn this from other smart people. I go, how important is balance, power, and stability to you as a whatever, fill in the blank? Everybody has the same answer. Kev, it's like everything. Was on a golf call this morning with a performance center in BC. Same line, gave me the same answer. Can I ask you another question? Permission. Yes. If I could show you how I could instantly, and I go heavy on that word, right? Because they hear the word instantly, like instant gratification, instantly change your balance, power, stability, and the golfer I threw in the golf analytics, right? Club head speed. So you got to learn the language. I got to learn the communication of what their love language is and whatever, gardening, whatever analogy, right? He goes, man, yeah, do the demo. Then we have a conversation. Then we do an experiment. And it's a law of attraction. And they go, this is really cool. Drug-free, instant, age safe, pregnancy safe, FDA registered, non-invasive, no side effects, money back guarantee. I said, you can't lose. In fact, and this gets hard sometimes with people. I'll close on this. I says, you're losing the game right now. You have a neurological inconvenience. How does that make you feel? Sucks, Kev. It's really hard, man, hitting all these dead ends. If I could show you something that could help you, would you like to see it? They go, yeah, what do you got? I got the Hope demo with that patch. Works every time. Why? It's neurology. Lights on, it's wax on, wax off. It's the Karate Kid. We're the Super Patch Kid. Wax, neuro on, neuro off. You pick. I want it on, Kev, all the time. Top gear. Why? Get busy living or get busy, you know the movie. I use this. They go, you really want to help me, don't you? If you want to be helped, I'll do everything I can to help you. Because it's helped me and it's helped a lot of people. And I got lots of room on the plateau. So on that note, I'm always here for you guys, or not guys. We got a few guys on the team. We got like a minority. It's like the gals. We got a lot of gals on this team. So as leaders in this team, you know who they are. We're growing leaders. I wasn't a leader when I started. Still got a long way to go, but I'm working on my game every day. And as we help one another and we focus on that, what can I do to help my teammate and help me get better? We'll grow because we're seeing it. And I get to see a lot of new faces in Orlando, like in 3 weeks or 4 weeks, whenever we're going to win, 4 weeks away, whatever it is. And I can't wait to meet the new rookies. I met them the last time in Orlando, and exciting because that means lives are being changed. And when you change lives and empower people, you can change the world. And that's what we're doing. So I'm done. I'm going to stop talking and stop sharing. And I'm done. Okay.
Wow.
Tina.
Wow.
Okay,
Who on
Okay.
this call can say that they're not inspired by this guy? Incredible. Dukes, as always, you nailed it right down the middle of the fairway.
Good, because I hit a lot of rough when I play golf, man. It's tiring, man. It's painful, man. It's like
No, well, you
down the
didn't have the tech on when you played golf, so
That's right.
you might have to pick up the game again. But
Yeah.
on behalf of everybody on this call and those that were watching live on our Team Patchination, thank you, Kevin. Thank you for putting the effort in. Thank you for inspiring us all, and thank you for giving us something to think about, because growth mindset is where it's at if you want to move forward.
Yeah.
And
Barry, can I make a quick suggestion before I'm not able to where I'm located? Just save the chat, because Kev deserves to see the chat and how.
I can't, yeah, because I can't read. There's no way I cannot do that, man. I'm not qualified like these women can do like 3 things at once, man. It's like I just can't do that. So
Well, you're inspiring a lot of people, Kevin, so you just need to be
likewise.
convinced of that.
How do you do that, Lori? Just save it.
I have to save it on my Zoom. So just
Yeah.
stop the recording here.